and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today I'm going to be back working on my treehouse, and the main thing I'm going to be attempting to do is to add some texture to the leaves, the green part of the tree. Now I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, but we can but try. Now I've positioned this kind of awkwardly so that you can see what I'm talking about. I've got this lovely moulded green plastic leaves on here, and whilst it was fine on the original, I want something a bit more. So we're going to be working on adding some foliage to this. Now I'm just going to move this out of the way and to the side of me. And I'm going to pull in what I've got. Now what I've got is this. Now if you saw my last video, you'll know that I've been having fun making this. And this is my own version of the clumpy foliage that you can buy for model making. Now that stuff is actually pretty expensive. Rightly or wrongly, it's pretty expensive. And whilst I used it on my really small diorama to make trees, I'd need a lot for this. So I'm having a go with making it myself. Now this is ordinary sponge, torn up and then soaked in a mixture of acrylic paint and water. Now I got a bit too much water in this, I think, which I think is why my colour disappeared from the original colour I got, which I quite liked, to this one which is a bit less than natural. So what I'm going to do is, once it's on, I'm going to use some dry brushing to add some more colour to it, some more texture. At least that's the plan. This took quite a while to dry, as I say, because I used quite a lot of water, but it does seem to be incredibly well coloured. So that said, I'm going to start trying to glue some into place on my treehouse. I will probably do some off camera to see if it works, and then if it does, I'll try and rearrange my filming space so that I can actually show you what I'm doing. I don't think it's going to be particularly intellectual what I'm going to do. I think it's just going to be a bit of glue and sticking bits of this on, but we shall see. It has taken me quite a while to get to this stage with the foliage in, a lot longer than I thought it would. This is the lower of the two branches. The higher branch, which is off camera over this side, doesn't fit under the camera with my usual setup, is done and dry. Now, the problem I've been having is with drying time. I looked at what people said to use. Some people have said to use white PVA type glue. Some people have said to use a tacky glue. A lot of other people have said the only thing you can use is hot glue. Now, hot glue, it's just not going to cut it, because you've got to work so quick, because you literally be able to put a dab down, put a piece of sponge down, and it would be taking forever. I tried with my usual glue, which goes tacky, and I put the glue on and I let it sit and it didn't go tacky, and I let it sit a bit longer and it didn't go tacky, and I put some sponge in and it took ages to dry. So bearing in mind that that is considerably dearer than the PVA that I use, I went over to PVA. Now I've got some PVA on a piece of cereal box here, and all I'm doing is I'm just applying an area of it. I'm putting it on fairly thick. I'm not putting a lot on because I'm finding that doing it in small sections is actually working better for me. And then I'm just going in and pushing my pieces of sponge into the glue, and then I'm having to wait. It is taking a long time to dry. I don't think that any of the, putting a fan on and all that is going to work with this because of what it is. It's just a case of having to wait. Now this bit down here, the lower part of this, I did this about half an hour ago and it's still really wet, and I've still got bits that are trying to fall off that I'm having to push back on. I'm not really enjoying it, but the look isn't bad. It looks better than these stylized leaves. It's got more texture, and hopefully once I get to adding some paint it will look a lot better. So next time you see it, this will be done and dry, and hopefully we'll be adding some paint. Hopefully you can tell that I've actually been painting my foliage. Now I'm kind of limited with what I can actually get under the camera, as I've stated before, but the first section has been done as well. Now I've done this with a dry brushing crossed with a stippling technique. So what I've done is I've used, this is actually my favourite brush for this kind of thing, and as you can see it is knackered. It's quite a rough bristled brush normally. It's wet at the moment because I haven't long cleaned it, but the bristles are broken off and it means I get quite an uneven stippling effect. Now I've done it with a variety of paint colours, and at the moment I'm just letting it all dry, and then I will decide if I need to put any more on. I may want to put some more on, so I'm just going to slide this aside so I can show you the colours. Now in my beaten up paint palette I've got the 5 colours that I've chosen. I went most for these 2, which are, hang on, a pine needle and forest green with a little bit of the deep green, which is a bit bluer, and then I used some soft green and some sage just for some highlights. I may alter it yet, I'm not sure, but I've got some colour on. It's got a bit more depth to the foliage, and I'm liking how it's going. So I'm going to leave this for a bit and see whether I think it needs any more anywhere, and then move on to another job. So the paint has all dried on my foliage and I quite like it. I need to add a sealer because some of these bits are a bit loose. Just some acrylic glue and water will do it apparently. And if I come down here you can also see the other one down there is done. Now if I swing this around, and excuse the horrible camera work, my stand just will not work for this. You can see that I've covered the little birdhouse with some cereal box board and will be decorating that in due course when I decide what I want to do with it. Let's see, more of that and more of the mess, because you get to see the bits that you don't normally see. Now coming down, I'm going to flip this over and you get a really good view of how nice that cobweb, spiderweb light looks. I have done the underneath. I covered the underneath of the platforms with some masking tape, and then I've done a coat of black paint and a coat of brown paint, and it looks far better than it did. It doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. I need to put some more paint around the edges and things like that, but I've still got work to do on these platforms, making railings and such like. So let's flip this back over and not cover my templates. So that is sort of done. I need to figure out, well, I need to make the stuff that's going to go out here. I want to cover this green plastic with some terrain scatter, but I don't want to waste a lot of it where I'm going to put stuff. So I want a counter of sorts out here on this section. So I've got to build that. So that should probably be my next job, but of course it isn't. I also need to build a ladder, which is going to go up to here. Now, my thought is that on this upper floor, I don't have a doorway, so I'm going to say that the doorway is somewhere before the end of this platform, that this bit is solid, so to make a nicer room. And then on the ground floor, the door at the far side, excuse my hand, is going to be your entrance exit, and this would actually be blocked in, whereas it's actually open for easier access. So rather than working on the bit that I need to work on, which is the counter for outside, and to figure out what kind of baskets and boxes I want as permanent features out here. There's going to be quite a few around here and around the edge of the tree and stuff. Again, places where I can leave empty spaces because I don't need them. No, rather than doing that, I've been making some templates for fixtures and fittings inside. Now, my thought at the moment is that when I get it lined up, sorry about that, this is going to be the base of my pieces. Now, because the tree curves inwards as it goes up, as well as curving around, I'm going to make a template, and I'm going to have to make the bottom part of my structure and then make another template to make my top, because I want it to sort of slope in from this side, and it's obviously going to slope in from that side. It's going to be fun. A lot of templates involved. This is just the really simple make a template with some sticky notes and post-it notes, and fiddle and fiddle until you're happy with it. And I'm not happy with it. That one piece is too big, so I'm going to have to do a bit more fiddling yet. But yeah, that's where we're at. And so it looks like fixtures are what I'm working on next. Hopefully I'll get to the actual counter and leave this bit alone, but you never know. I did get on and make my little counter that I wanted to. Now, I've made this really simply out of some cereal box material. It's not particularly difficult. Cereal box material that's been painted, and a little bit of plastic from some packaging to give me a nice glass front. Really easy. It's just basically a variation on the box. Now, if you would like to see how I've made this counter, drop me a comment and I'll see what I can do. I just sort of made it up as I went along, and it looks a little bit lopsided, but quite frankly, I'm not bothered. It will work. It'll fit nicely onto my base and allow me to do my thing with the landscaping, which is why I needed to make it. Now, I did this the height I did, and it's a little bit tall for my little character, so I've made a book for them to stand on. I could have made a box, I could have made a step. I made a book. Now, this is just some pieces that were cut off when I was making this from the cereal box material, all stuck together until I got the height that I wanted, and then I made a cover out of some cardstock. It is as simple as that. That is just a scrap bit of cardstock that I covered with some alcohol ink, glued onto the one side, stuck it around, glued onto the other side, and we have a book, and it actually looks really quite good depending on which way I decide to put it. You can either see for definite that it's a book, or I could put a title on the spine and leave that sticking out, but then my little creature can stand at the counter and serve the customers. So yeah, my next stage is going to be to mark where these are going to stand on the base, and then start applying some flock. Now, I've shown previously on videos how to apply flocking, which is the landscaping material. I will quickly run through it afterwards, but I'm not going to do a full-on demo on this one, because to be fair, I'm not sure how well it's going to stick to the plastic, and if everything else is anything to go by, the glue is going to take quite a while to dry, so it's going to be a bit time consuming. So yeah, on with the ground cover. I have repositioned everything to try and get a better view of what's going on, so please excuse the fact that my fingers look even larger and more sausage-like than normal, but it was the best way. I have applied all of my scatter material around the base. Now, that I've done by applying a nice thick layer of PVA glue. That is white glue, school glue, that kind of stuff. It's not the quickest drying of glues, but it does work really, really well at getting a nice even layer and holding this stuff. Now, I'd done most of it, and then I got a chunk which was around there, which I hadn't done, which I finished off this morning. And then the rest of it, because it had dried, all this over here and up round the back of the tree, I've actually put the sealer on now, because it had been quite a while since I did it, so I could get all the loose bits off this morning, and then I've been able to seal it. Now, the sealer is again PVA glue mixed with water and ideally a bit of liquid soap. The perfect thing is your dish soap, washing up liquid, just a little bit of that, just a drop. It helps break the surface tension, and you can do that in a spray bottle if you can find your spray bottle. I couldn't, so I've daubed it on with a brush, and yeah, that'll take a while to dry now, but then nothing will be moving. It will be quite secure in its situation. And that's what I've done on other things where I've used tray and scatter. So this, once it all dries, which in the weather we're having shouldn't be too long, I will complete the bottom bit. You can actually see where I've done the sealer compared to the bits that I've only put on this morning, which is drying out really, really quickly in places, which is brilliant. And once it dries, it'll be very obvious that this section has been sealed and that section hasn't. I'll seal that, and then I can move on with the finishing touches for the landscaping. Now, I'm going to add some more of my little sponge clumpy stuff, or maybe some moss. I may use some moss around the bottom of the tree, which you can just see in the back of the picture. I can just move it forward a little bit. Around there, I'm going to put some moss or something just to soften the edges, and I may put some moss around the edges here. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't want to put the scatter terrain all the way down the sides, because I didn't want to run the risk of it being rubbed against and rubbed off. So I'm not sure yet. I may just leave it as plastic and have done with it. But progress is being made. very slow. I am going to make a little video explaining a bit about why videos are taking me so long, because they are, I know they are, and with the best will in the world, even the stuff that I want to do, I'm not getting done very quickly, and yeah, it's annoying, but yeah, we're getting there. As you can see, the spaces have been left for the bits that I've made. I need to make some more baskets because I've only got 2 done and I need 5. And I want some more boxes because I want to put them in, some of them inside. And the main structure of my treehouse shop is coming together and I am liking it. Now at this point you're getting a really strange view because I'm not sure how else to show this off to you. So what I've done is I've tipped the treehouse onto its side so you can see how I've put the moss around the bottom, and I like it. I may add some more yet because I do like how it looks going up the sides in places and that kind of thing. It adds a lot of texture, and that's what I wanted more of with this, because it was, as a plastic toy, it was great, but it was rather flat. Although it's 3-dimensional, it was rather flat. Flat colours, that kind of thing. So yeah, this has done exactly what I need it to. Now I'm still waiting for the base to dry. I've still got the section over here to seal. And I can tell because I've tipped it, I've got bits that have fallen off over my mat. And I don't think you can actually see all the way over there. But it's working really, really well. So I think at this stage, I'm going to call my landscaping about done. And so I'm going to finish this video, and next time we come back to this, I'll be working on some more fun stuff, because that's why I'm doing it. I've got a ladder to build. That's going to be fairly simple. And I've got some shelves to put inside, well, some countery things to put inside. Not 100% sure how I'm going to do that, but I know what I want to do. And then I can start filling it with all kinds of goodies and turning it into a shop. And obviously the bits that I'm going to stick onto here, I need to fill before I can stick them down. So that's for next time. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. And please, please, please ring that notification bell. It's your best hope of finding out when I've got another video up. And at the moment, I have no idea when that's going to be. But until next time, bye.